This episode is powered by League Pickleball. Based in the heart of Vancouver, BC, whether you're new to the game or a seasoned vet, they have the paddle for you. I myself am currently using their Voltex Gen 3 Pro, which comes in both mid and lightweight. A big thank you for the team at Nanivia for taking a chance on me in this podcast. And for listeners of the podcast, if you enter AGorman15 at checkout, you get 15% off. Check out anivia.com now. That's AGORMAN 15 at checkout. On with the show. All right, we are back. We took a little bit of a break. Victor went to Ontario for a couple of weeks. How was it, Vic?
Good. Nice to be back, and welcome back, everyone. So yeah, I was in Ontario for almost a month, like the whole month. Well, because of military, not because of, well, how can I say? It was a little bit for pickleball, mostly for work. I guess I should say that. So yeah, I was there. I was teaching some dentistry with the military. When by being there, also at the same time I was able to play some pickleball, and then also at the same time get invited for some grand opening from High Sport in Stroopville, which is a facility north from Markham. If people knows where Toronto is, so it's pretty much in the suburb north of Toronto. So yeah, it was great.
Nice. Yeah, and you got to play with what was it, Christina and Ernesto while you were there?
Yeah, so look, I'll give you a little bit of a story about it. So basically, shout out to Huey. He's the one that actually invited me over. Yeah, there's a weekend I was just like, I'm not doing anything, and then Huey is like, yeah, just come down to Toronto. We'll meet up, and then there's a grand opening. We'll just hit you up with some people, and then it's just by surprise. Well, Christina is working with High Sport, right? I knew about Christina Chen, if people doesn't know. So I was like, okay, yeah, that'll be fun. I'll hit up with her, and they actually invited Ernesto Fajardo over. So I was like, holy crap, I didn't know that Ernesto also was coming over. So Ernesto was their guest of honor, to have their grand opening over there. So basically, their facility is not a very big facility yet. There's only six indoor pickleball court. So it looks small at this moment, but they're in a very big indoor soccer complex. Eventually, they said they're gonna expand, and that's just me saying they can expand all the way up to 18 pickleball indoor courts in there. So that's how big the facility are. So right now they're using just 1/3 of the facility. The rest is still indoor soccer. So yeah, I will say they're trying to gauge how much interest they're getting. Then eventually they'll blow that up. They are also over there opening up their second like a retail store location, because their flagship store is in Oshawa, which is like a little store on uh, beside a big mall, but they don't have any store in like a pickleball facility. So that the Stroopville facility is actually will be like right next to their pickleball courts. So they can test drive all their paddle, their equipment, and everything at the location while you're next to the pickleball courts. So which is good for them, and for me also to realize that I was like, why are they picking Stroopville? Why did they do that? And then while I was driving over, it's like, oh, there's like a huge like a high-end elderly center opening up next to the facility. I was like, oh, that makes sense why they want to open there.
That's good.
So I was like, ah, that makes sense. So they're doing good research by doing that. So anyway, so and then after that they have some opening ceremony. They invited people from their mayor, some of the local people over for the opening ceremony. They did a little bit of kind of a demo with the pros. They invited some of the audience play against the pro. I got lucky, so I was able to win a pair of the OST socks because they said, okay, you have to win 1 point in singles against one of the pros, and I was able to get 1 point out of Ernesto in singles.
Oh, nice. There you go.
Like maybe he gave it to me. I think I have a feeling he just gave it to me. But anyway, I still won 1 point.
Nice.
Anyway, thanks Ernesto for giving me that stock. Anyway, so that was great. And then he was he was playing with I cannot say it's not his girlfriend yet. It's just someone he met in when he was in Montreal, because in Montreal he was also invited as a guest of honor for the Varian Pickleball Club, which is a little bit out east, south shore of Montreal, that just opened like the week before that grand opening at High Sport. And then they just met each other over there, and it just happened that that lady was working in Toronto, so that's why they said, "Oh, do you want to come up to play some pickleball with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So that's why he was able to invite her over. She's a good, like she has like racquetball background, like, and you can see that she's pretty like she's not Ernesto good. She's not nowhere near the pro level, but like she's like a solid 3-5 for 4-0 player. And then after that we just play some game with each other, and some mess around with other people. And then I was able to do some social media stuff also for High Sport, while I was able to do something at least for them, while they just invited me for free over. So I was like, why not just do something for them, right? So and then at night I was about to just go go back to Markham to eat, and then Christina was like, "Yeah, we have a party at my uncle's house. Do you want to come?" I was like, "Sure, I've nothing to do, right?" So basically, and then we went all everyone from High Sport went over to her uncle's house. Her house has a like a big swimming pool, and at the backyard. And that people was like, wow, it's gonna be a lot of people. It's gonna be loud. Like the neighbors gonna complain on everything. So wait a second. So what's his house is located? It's right on the edge, like on a corner, and on top of that, behind, like he has nothing behind him. It's basically a park behind him. So he can just basically they can be as loud as they can, and no one can complain because it's a freaking park behind them. There's no one's gonna can
He's
complain.
not-
And behind the tennis court, so no one's there anyway.
yeah. So yeah, the perfect location for a party house, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then you have Ernesto. Oh my God, he was a karaoke machine. He was just nonstop singing for freaking 3 hours. I was like, wow, like this guy is a machine. I never saw Ernesto like being like nonstop singing. He was so funny. I was like, oh my God. And Ernesto, do you need a drink? He's like, no, I'll just continue singing. He's like, oh my God.
Did
Yeah,
you
yes, sorry.
did you jump on the mic for karaoke?
No, I'm not as good as them. They're just they're way better than me. I was like, you know what? I'll just leave the mic to them. They're good. Exactly. And then Christina was while Ernesto was singing, Christina's dancing in front of it. Obviously, like we knew about that. And then they forced Huey to do some rapping songs on the karaoke. So which is great. And yeah, during the High Sport also we forced Huey to play some pickleball. So, and actually Huey's pretty good. Like he's a solid 3-5. So you can't say he does not know pickleball. He knows how what to do. So it was fun. It was a great display, and be able to hang out with them also. So which is great. And I was able to also hang out with the Yola rep. So they're able to demo me some paddle, and I was able to hit with the mod TA15 against Ernesto's, and I unfortunately paddle does not matter when the skills is like that far of a gap. I still couldn't make any good shot against Ernesto, even though you have a super poppy paddle. It does not matter if your skill is not as good as him. So anyway.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, looking at your posts and stuff, it looked like you guys were having a blast. So big shout out to the crew at High Sports and Yui for inviting Victor along for that, because that's awesome.
Yeah, and then we'll show you on the pod. So shout out to Alex and Johnny from High Sport. They gave us some shirts. So that's the High Sport shirt, and then they gave us one of each, some High Sports shirts. So it was great too. So we feel part of their team.
Perfect. Yeah, and I rearranged my backdrop here, so I got a perfect spot for that shirt to go in my backdrop here.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at the video, so
your background is nice. So people that doesn't have YouTube, please tune in. Look at Andrew's backdrop. So much better now. So much better layout. My backdrop looks like shit right now. Sorry.
Yeah, but if you don't want to jump on YouTube, actually starting with this episode, we'll also have video on Spotify now, because Spotify now has video.
Nice.
So we'll be videos on 2 places, and then of course audio everywhere. So
that's perfect. And then let's continue. Let's continue on my trip in Ontario. It has been a pretty long trip. So after that, it was I want to give a shout out to the Barrie Pickleball Club, with especially Jill McCaff, which is one of the main responsible person that was in Barrie Pickleball Club. That was the 3rd time in a row that I just give a shout out to him. Like, can I come over and play some pickleball? And he's like, yeah, sure, come over. Don't worry about all the club stuff. And then he just invited me over to their club. So why Barrie is because CFB Borden, which is the base in around that area, is only 30 minutes from Barrie. So the Barrie is a city just north of Toronto, and they have last year built a new facility with around. Now, they used to only have 4 courts. Now they have 12 courts, outdoor courts, fully lit, fully fenced courts. And there's 2 courts that they're built as wide enough that they accommodate wheelchair pickleball. So shout out to them to be able to advocate for such a nice facility over there. And I was able to play at least 2 to 3 times a week with their folks over there. So shout out to the people that play with me, Luis, that has been playing with me all the time, Owen, Avid. Those people have been sorry for the other names I forgot, but yeah, shout out to you guys to always invited me and just play with me all the time. So which is fun. Other than that, I want to give a shout out also to the Evo Athletica pickleball. So they gave me a new paddle to test drive. We'll talk about a little bit on the pod. He gave me this paddle to test drive. It's a pretty interesting paddle. We'll talk about it later. So, and I hit up with one of the guys called Yan. He's from another pickleball company, the NXT company. Ewan, which is from the Evo Athletica company, that we met each other around Strokeville, and then hit some ball together, talk about some pickleball stuff, and then so the shout outs to them to them too. And yeah, even like Strokeville is not a big city. they already have 12 pickleball, like a nice 12 pickleball outdoor facility. I was like, holy crap! Like this is not a big city, and they already have something built like within a year and something like that. I was like, what is Calgary doing? Why Calgary does not have a dedicated pickleball course? This is nuts.
Yeah, Peace River, come on.
Or Peace River. Well, basically, like to be honest with you, Strickville is not as big, so it's probably the size of Peace River or like Peace River, Grand Prairie combined. They should have a pickleball court. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like Grand Prairie's got their 12 court spot now. I know they were talking about that they need to reduce some of the courts there, but like Peace River, we got like the four courts on tennis courts that we share, and they're not even the club. Like the club doesn't run that area; it's just the town runs it. So it's just kind of drop in during the summer, and then of course we play in the rec center in the wintertime. But I just heard that we're gonna get that surface is gonna get redone next year. So it's going to be brand new service, and they're going to make it so you can actually get 6 pickleball courts on those outdoor courts when they repaint all the lines and stuff. So yeah, we're getting 2 more courts for outdoors, but I would still love the town to build a facility because now, like, because our club is a winter club, as I've said before, we've actually had to put people on waiting lists because there's not enough time and court space for the amount of members. Like, so for example, we had our first club day yesterday, and so we only get 2 courts, so a maximum or 2 basketball courts, so a maximum of 6 courts, 3 on each.
Yeah,
and we had people sitting and waiting to get in, and we have like 3 hours. We have like 7 to 10, but when everyone shows up, you have like 12 plus people waiting and trying to rotate in.
Wow.
With
Well,
our,
and it's not only your problem. When I was in Barrie Pickleball Club, same thing happens to them. They have to cap the amount of members in their club too, even though they have more and more pickleball outdoor pickleball courts. But the problem is the indoors, right? The indoor facility is not is so much in high demand there, but there's not enough built, right? Or they have to use like school facility, but people that is in a higher level like me and you probably doesn't want to play in the gym like if we have a dedicated facility, right? So but anyway, Barry in Barry, they actually what they're gonna do right now, they actually they use the old Sears in the mall. They're gonna convert that Sears to, I think, for 8 to 12 pickleball courts in there. So I think that makes sense. Like more and more malls should do that because like you're not be able to rent that Sears to anyone else anyway. Like just use it for pickleball course, people.
yeah, the amount of big retail stores is diminishing so much right now. So you have those big open spaces. So yeah, why not give it to a club?
Or all the Lowe's that was closed in Canada, just use it for pickleball course, people.
Yeah, no, we have a spot here in Peace. I think it was like an old glass or some type of pipe place. And right now, if you look at it, you could probably fit like a good 12, 14 courts in it. And like you wouldn't even have to take any like walls out or anything. It's all just open.
Yeah.
And we're all sitting there as pickleball club. We're like, man, I wish we had X amount of money so we could stick pickleball courts in there, right?
Yeah, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. Just another thing about the high sport is so they're now already secured their third location in Vaughan, which is a little bit west of Toronto. They probably set up another 8 pickleball courts over there. However, they will have a very steep competition because another facility just announced they're gonna open up in a dome. Like basically, like if you look at like some soccer dome, they're gonna do like a tennis and pickleball dome instead over that area to compete against the high sport, which will be like a dedicated indoor facility. And they also announced a 4th facility, which I'm not going to name at this point because they told me specifically not to say anything about where about yet.
Okay. That's awesome. It's awesome to see that they're growing so quick, though. That's perfect.
And then while I was talking about to Huey, so CPA, so yep, they gave us some shirt also, so we're gonna flash it on there. So thanks Huey for setting that up. Thanks High Sport. So they gave us some CPA shirts over here. So pretty cool looking shirt. So they're still looking to have probably November schedule in Montreal. They're still trying to secure which location, and I don't think it's going to be a problem anymore because they have so many new facility opening in Montreal. I think just the past 2 months they have like 2 or 3 new indoor facilities just open, and those are like at least 10 plus pickleball courts inside. So
Nice.
that'll be good.
Yeah, you just make get the facilities to all kind of group together, and then have like the amateurs at one location, have the pros at the other, and then you can have kind of.
And then you have many pros there too that to help out. You have Emily, you have obviously Ernesto, you have Lucia over there, Jad, all those pros that's going to be there to help out to make it happen. So
this is where you do a CPA and CNPL combination. You get the Montreal Lions to be like the host pros.
yeah, they should have done that, but well, it's not a call, unfortunately.
Yeah. And then Ernesto and Huey are in China right now, right?
Oh yeah, so big shout out to Huey and Ernesto. Well, we knew that was a big news upcoming anyway, so big news alert. Minor league pickleball is now growing in China, so that was their purpose there being in China, is to promote the minor league pickleball in China. Obviously Ernesto also be invited in China also to give some lessons and give some tips over the pros that's in China also. That was the main reason of their trip. Huey also being the main person taking care of Duper China with Yuki. Well, it's more Yuki doing more stuff than Huey. Sorry, Huey. Yuki's doing more stuff than Huey. But the Huey say most of the time they just want to throw his face over, but like all the background stuff was done by Yuki. So anyway, I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe Huey's a more marketable person than Yuki. I don't know. Anyway, just funny.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Well, hey, and if they ever want to get the MLP in the Philippines, I have someone who's getting ready to turn pro who speaks the language and is from.
Yeah, well, they can start the Duper and the minor league pickleball over down there too. So you should reach out to him.
Yeah, so if you're listening, Aireen's totally game on taking a trip to the Philippines. So, and then is High Smarts also doing something over in Asia as well?
So yes, Johnny from one of the co-owners from High Sport currently is in Vietnam. So they're trying to promote their store or also in Vietnam. Why Vietnam is another hotspot right now? Apparently for Yola, China is the country that's selling and buying most of the Yola paddle. Apparently Vietnam is second place, before United States. So I was like, oh, interesting. I did not know that. So that's why Johnny from High Sport is now going there, trying to set up a store over there too, and also help promoting Yola paddles for them. Obviously, because High Sport is also sponsored by Yola. So now you know. So that's why Chen is using Yola.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so moving on. So while Vic was enjoying himself in Ontario, me and Aireen went down to Okotoks.
I finished talking, so I'll let Andrew do all the talking now from their U.S. and Canadian women's pro tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know where Okotoks is, it's about 30 to 40 minutes south of Calgary. It was at the Linwood Ranch, which is just a nice little it's like it was like a horse farm or place where you could go, and it was a community hall that got converted into pickleball courts. So it's a really nice spot. It's got 4 permanent outdoor courts in it. This was all put together by Tracy Bennett, who is one of our Canada senior pros. She was kind of grabbed the bull by the horns, got on the phone with a bunch of our pros, US pros. And so basically you had pros and senior pros from Canada and the USA come in, and then we had amateurs from both the USA and Canada coming in, and they would play with the pros, with the senior pros, and then against each other in kind of like a Canada-US matchup. Now we did have more Canadian amateurs than what we had US. So actually, Aireen and two other ladies from Canada ended up playing on the US team. Hence why, if you're watching the video, I have the blue shirt.
Yeah, they should be having the red shirt, right, for the
Yeah,
Canadian team.
yeah. So technically, Aireen should have been playing for Team Red, but she was
So
playing for.
I was shouting like traitor, traitor, traitor.
Well, and that's the funny thing because a lot of the pros who know who Aireen is, and a lot of and there was quite a few of the amateurs from Canada who Aireen has played against were like, "Did you guys move or what's? Why are you wearing that shirt?" Right? So it was a little funny story with that we got to chat with people about. But so yeah, so it was a 3-day event. So day one, basically what they did is the first thing they did in the morning was they did this pros and senior pros play together, and then they would just rotate partners. So you'd have a different partner every single time, and they play Canada versus the USA. Those matches were pretty even. A lot of good rallies in that. The ball that was being used at this event was the Gamma ball. This ball is very, very poppy if you're comparing it to like the Selkirk or even like the Onyx Durafast.
The ball's called Gamma Chuck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Chuck or something like that. But it was really noticeable because even the pros were having a little bit of an issue with it that first day. Like you saw a lot of serve returns going deep and going out. Now, and of course, by the time the weekend was over, everyone had adjusted to the ball, but it was just something that a lot of the players noticed, especially that first kind of day and a half. After the split age, you had the senior pros play with the amateurs, same thing, Canada versus USA, and then the amateurs basically played 8 games, playing once with every senior pro. Aireen did really well in that. And the way they did the prizes for this is that you took your like your win-loss percentage over the course of the event for the senior pro-am, and the players who had the best outputs are who won. And Aireen actually came in third. So she got some money for that one. So
Nice.
her final first kind of cash prize win, which was really cool. And before we move on to the pro-am part, I got to give a big shout out to the US senior pros. And I got to see more of this, obviously, because I was watching Aireen play. I thought they were very, very accommodating and very like a huge wealth of knowledge and super positive with how they were dealing with playing with the amateurs. Because, of course, when you're, and like me and Victor can attest this, when you're kind of playing with someone who's obviously not at your skill level, or at least not at your experience level, sometimes you, like, and you still want to win the match, but you don't want to start over poaching too much. I thought the US senior pros did a really good job of seeing what Aireen was capable of and then kind of playing off that and being very, very supportive every time she made a good shot, like getting hyped up about it. If she made a mistake, they'd come over and give her a quick tip. Oh, hey, maybe try this one next time and stuff like that. You didn't see any like negativity. So I thought they did a really good job with that. And the US senior pros, you could see there was I don't want to say a massive gap between them and our Canadian senior pros, but you could definitely see an experience gap. Like, and of course, with the US being about what do we usually say, Vic? About 5 years ish, maybe a little bit less.
We're probably, well, no, 5 years is makes sense. We're about 5 years behind from the States, right?
Yeah.
We like our pros probably barely started into the 2020s, 2021, right? Versus like the US Pro, they already started like the PPA and the APP into the 2018, 2019, right?
So you can see how they've had that. There's that gap there where you can see the difference between the players. Then you move on to the pro-am. So same thing as the senior pro. Each amateur takes a turn playing with the pro on their respective team. On the flip side of this one, I thought the Canadian pros did a little bit of a better job than the US pros of adjusting to playing with the amateur player. Like watching like Kim Layton or Jessica Kawamoto playing, after the first couple of points, you'd see, okay, this is what this amateur's strengths are, this is what their weaknesses are. I'll come over and take this if I need to type of thing, but I'm going to kind of let them feel themselves out, and then we'll kind of go from there. Now, like, and that's not saying that the US pros were bad or anything, but it was just, I just noticed that the Canadian pros seem to adapt quicker. And I don't know if it's because of the how spaced out our female pros are in this country. Like, because if you just look at for Alberta, for example, what do we have? We have Kim Layton as like the top. We have like Allie up in Edmonton, and Ava up in Edmonton, who are just, and Ava's just barely scratching the surface of pro. Caitlin Stroke is out with an injury right now. So other than that, then the next close person is like Casey Rogers in BC, and then the rest of the female pros are all like in Ontario,
basically Ontario area. Yeah.
Right. So there's not. So I think because of that, our pros are used to playing with a little bit lower tiered players more often. So I think that's why they're able to adjust. Whereas the US, because the US is so populated and you have so many people who've turned pro, it's a lot easier for them to find other high level players. Now, that being said, the whole point of this event was for these players to make connections who like Tracy said herself in the opening, was that there's a lot of these women who, unless they're going to a tournament, they're playing with 3 guys.
Yeah.
The clubs and stuff, right? Because they've gotten so advanced that they're so much further ahead than the rest of the women in their club that they're better off playing with the men. But playing with 3 guys for a female and then going to a tournament where you're playing all women, it's different. And and the easiest way I can describe this is all you need to do is turn on a PPA event, watch the women's finals and watch the men's finals.
Yeah, it's totally two different game, basically.
Completely different game. The women's are still a lot more, we're going to try and overpower you type stuff. Whereas the men, because all the men are so strong and they respect each other's power, you see a lot more of a chess match. And then you'll see a fire attack fight and then a slowdown again. Whereas the women, you'll be like firefight, then a couple of dinks, firefight. Like it's more fire and then dink, whereas the men is more dink and then firefight.
Yeah.
So if you're used to how the men play, a lot of times you'll get surprised by the female side because you're going to get caught a bunch with those speed ups that you're not expecting. You're thinking, okay, they're going to try and do a spin dink over and try and get me to pop it up. And no, it's coming at my chest or it's coming at my head type of thing. Right. So,
yeah.
So once again, a shout out to Tracy to reaching out to all the pros and putting that together. Day 2, what they did then is, and before I forget, so the way this tournament was done, it was all rally scoring, games 21, but no freeze. So unlike the CNPL where you had the freeze at 20 and then the team at 20 could only score their final point on their serve, this one for time constraints, because there was only 4 courts and you have like 32 athletes there. For time constraints, they either had a 15-minute time stop or it was 21, and if you served it into the net and that was the other team's 21st point, that was the end of the match.
How many courts is there? Is this just 6 or 4? 4, right?
Right. So on Friday they jammed 198 matches onto 4 courts.
Oh my god!
From 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So you can understand why they had a 15-minute time restraint.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Or to 21, right? So. And the main reason why is you wanted these women to get in as many games as possible, right? So strategy does change a little bit when you're playing rally scoring, but still it was some really, really good matches on that day 1. And then day 2, what we did then is they did a preliminary round robins. So you had the senior pros playing against senior pros, and same thing, you were rotating your partner every match. And basically what these did is at the end of it, so say, so you played basically 7 matches. You played 7 matches. And so say if you went 7-1, you're the number 1 ranked on your team. The next person, say if they went 6-2, they're number 2. So number 1, number 2 on the Sunday then would be team 1 for that particular team, for that particular country, right? So they did the senior pro, they did the amateurs, they did the pros. Aireen ended up being on USA Team 3. She had a couple of matches that got really, really close. What I noticed big time with the Canadian and US amateurs, our Canadian amateurs, there was a lot of Aireen, if she was on that team, would probably have been the youngest player. We had we had a lot more older ladies. Not that old, like they were still, most of them, I would say, in their 40s or like mid to 40s, but there was a couple of, like, they would, if they were turning pro, they'd be going to senior pro. And a lot of them were from BC, like majority of the Canadian pros are from BC, and they're all used to playing each other. So I found they meshed better together, type of thing. And I found with the US players,
Well, shout out to BC having all those.
yeah, shout out to BC because a lot of really good players. There was a couple of them like I'm blanking on names right now. Michelle and I want to say Rebecca, who Aireen actually played against them in the finals at Nationals last year in the 4.0. And so Aireen and her partner got gold and they got silver. So they were on Team Canada for the amateurs. And they were really, really good. And it was funny because they started joking with her and it's like, oh, we got to play you again. Oh, we got to play you again. Type of thing. So it was so shout out to them. They were awesome. But it was funny because after the amateur round robin, the US team looked like they were dominating because the US had a lot more younger players. Like Aireen was probably maybe third oldest on that team.
Wow.
Or third or fourth. So we had a couple more in those like late 30s. I don't think there was anyone in the 20s. I think the youngest person maybe had been like 32, 33-ish. But there was a lot more like, I think the oldest person might have been over 50, and then the next oldest person was in the mid 40s type of thing for age-wise. So you could see a little bit more athleticism and stuff like that. But what I did notice is that majority of the US players were very left side dominant. So when they go to tournaments, they're clearly the player who's playing on the left side, and they clearly stack because a lot of them were having trouble playing the right side. So a lot of times, like Aireen would start on the left and she'd switch to the right. Not that she was having trouble on the left, it's because her teammate was having so much trouble on the right side, and because Aireen can play either, she would do that to adjust. Right.
Wow.
And,
Interesting.
yeah, it was because I was like, hey, well, do a bunch of you not play mix? Like, because normally if you play mix and you're doing the stack, normally you're on the right, right? But I found a lot of them were used to being the alpha female, I guess. And so you saw a lot more, not necessarily like argument clashing, but clashing of like who's taking that ball in the middle or who's stepping in and taking this, or like unnecessary speed ups from the right and stuff like that. But
that's an interesting talk. Like, why no? Like, if they're playing mix all the time, right? The mix technically, the lady will be on the right, right? They should know how to play right, but like, why they all left hand dominant? Is the guy playing right or anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Because and there was I don't think was there a lefty? I think there was one lefty. There was the team on the USA team, and like she was fine on the right, but yeah, so like it was funny because Aireen meshed really well with a couple of players on the US team, and she ended up playing with one of them on the Sunday on the US team 3. And then so before we jump to Sunday, so at the end of the senior one, you could tell the US team was a little bit stronger for the senior pros, as I kind of already alluded to. On the pro side, though, it was very, very even. Like our top level pros, so you got like, so for our top level pros, for those of you who follow us when we covered the CNPL, we had Kim Layton there, Jessica Kawamoto, Casey Rogers, Carolina Hack, and actually someone who's not in the CNPL, which I think, I don't know if she's busy playing in the States now, but Anna Dashenko.
Yeah, I heard. She did play in the Alberta provincial or the Western not long ago.
I know she played in nationals in Regina, and she won the women's singles. Like she beat Christine in singles. In finals, right? Like Andrushenko is a very, very good player. She's like 6'1".
I remember her. She's like really, super tall. I was like, oh wow, okay.
Really long reach, very, very, very good player. So those were, if I was to pick our big five, those were kind of like our big five, right? And then we had a couple other pros there who like not CNPL level, but still like you could tell they're 5.0 plus, right? And that was very, very when they were mixing, it was very, very even. So our team 1 for Canada ended up being Casey and Anna, and then our team 2 ended up being Jessica Kawamoto and Kim Layton. So that was our Canada 1, Canada 2 teams going into Sunday. So going into Sunday, and then they had on the Saturday night, they had like an awards dinner where they handed out the awards for the events on the Friday, and some really good speeches. The dinner was really, really well. Shout out to the Linwood Ranch hostess and the volunteers there for putting on such a great event. It got really cold though, because the event was supposed to be like 6:30 to like 10 o'clock, and everyone ended up leaving around like 8:45 because it got really cold outside. I know it's funny because I'm sitting there like in a pair of shorts and I got like a jacket on and I'm fine, right? Because I'm built for this weather. But like the US players have like their toques on, they're like it all bundled up. You can tell which ones were from more southern states and the ones who weren't from up northern states. It was kind of funny. But no, really, really good event. I got throughout the weekend, I got to chat with a bunch of our pros from the CMPL. I got to do a little bit of commentary on the Friday with Caitlin Soroka. She was doing commentary for most of the weekend. Casey Rogers jumped on with her when she wasn't playing. Haddle Full actually dropped in on the Saturday and did some commentary with Caitlin as well.
Nice.
And shout out to Caitlin again for hopefully a speedy recovery. She tore her ACL, I think, a week leading up to this because she was supposed to be one of our pros in this event. And it was just a freak accident when she was at the Calgary Pickleball Club where I guess she was playing with some newer players and someone, there was a lob and her partner, I think, undercut her a little bit and she landed on his foot or something. Those times, one of those freak accidents where it's just like, oh, God damn it type of thing, right? So speedy recovery to Caitlin.
Yeah, we can't call pickleball old man sport anymore. Did you see that?
No, exactly. No, yeah, and I recommend everyone, if you didn't watch any of these events, go to Tracy Bennett Pickleball on YouTube, and she's got all of the days, and they actually recorded all 3 of the 4 courts. So she has, if you go to her channel now, she has court 1 day 1, court 2 day 1, court 3, all the way through all 3 days. So you can see a bunch of the matches. There were some really, really, really good ones, even on the amateur, because all these ladies playing amateur are bare minimum 4 or 5 or higher.
Nice.
So very, very high quality pickleball. So then we move on to the Sunday where it's kind of the finals. So basically all the finals where it was a round robin. So team 1 plays team 4, 3, 2, 1. So then you had like you line up against your other team's equivalents for the final match. So Ireen's team 3, they went 1-3. Now they took Canada 2 to 3 sets. They took Canada 3 to 3 sets, lost in both. Her partner and her blended pretty well, but you could tell her partner was very lived and died by each point. So if she made a bad shot, she'd get down on herself a little bit, and Aireen had to try and pump her up, and then she would start like getting nervous and making a couple mistakes and stuff like that. So, but they still put up a really good fight. Like I said, they forced a 3-game set versus Team Canada 2, a 3-game set against Team Canada 3. They beat Team Canada 4, and then the only team that really it wasn't a blowout, but the team that beat them in 2 straight sets was Team Canada 1. But on the amateur side, like once the teams were made, Canada swept the amateurs.
Wow.
Team Canada 1 went undefeated. Team Canada 2 went 3-1, and Team Canada 3 went 3-1. But that's what I was saying before, where I was alluding to like the U.S. players not being able to mesh as well. The Team Canada players, you could see mesh didn't matter who they were teamed with, because like as I was saying, like Michelle and Rebecca, who are normally partners on a regular basis, they weren't playing together. They weren't on the same team. And they were still meshing really well with these other Canadian amateurs. So shout out to our Canadian amateur ladies who played insanely well.
Yes, Canada. Let's go.
Exactly. And like I said, I was conflicted all weekend with Aireen playing on teams being a hardcore Canadian. So but no, yeah. So the matches were really, really great on that side. So like Aireen was happy with how she performed, obviously not happy with like the overall results of the games, but she wasn't unhappy with how she played.
Okay. Yeah, that's all matters.
Yeah, just stuff like when your partner's having a bad game, you can only do so much to try and compensate for it, because if you try to overpoach too much, then you're just putting yourself out of position, right? So it's and that's a credit to the Canadian amateur teams. They noticed her partner was struggling a couple of times, and then they just started to pick on her, right? And at that level, that's what you expect, though, right? Yeah. Like that's going to happen in like 4.5, 5.0 plus, and then pro level. Like if you notice someone's having a bad day, you're going to jump all over that.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to the senior pro, US. I think US took the first 2 spots. Canada 1 took the 3rd place spot, but that's where I was saying you could see the gap. And then the Canada 1 team that did get into that third place spot, that was probably the 2 youngest players in the senior pro.
Oh, okay.
Right, like they're senior pro, but only senior pro by like maybe 2 or 3 years.
Gotcha.
So, but and they were like very, very athletic, very agile, and so were the U.S. seniors. And there was the one lady there. I want to say she for the U.S. she was like 60 something. Her name was B. Holy crap, could she hammer that ball? And I don't think it was the paddle that made the difference. She just knew how to wind up. It didn't matter if it was backhand or forehand. She could kill that thing. It was awesome to watch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, everyone, like when everyone says, "Oh yeah, it's an old person sport," I was like, "Yeah, if you play these older ladies, sorry, not old ladies, but older ladies, they'd kick your ass." So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
we have all the memes on internet, right? Seeing getting beat by a 70-year-old lady.
Yeah, right.
Whatever.
No, but yeah, like these ladies were very, 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 very good. And then on to the regular pro. So US one got first place. I don't remember the ladies' names, but they were both very, very good players. And then our Canada 1 got second. That was Casey and Anna, and then Jess and Kim Layton got third. So we took 2 spots on the podium there. So very well. All the matches though in that entire like pro thing were all freaking nail biter matches. I don't think there was like a massive blowout at all. Like they were all like 15-12, 15-13 type games, right? So and I'm sorry, I forgot to say on the final day it was best 2 out of 3, rally scoring to 15. And same thing, no freeze or anything. It was still you score 15, you can score it any way you want, but at least it was 2 out of 3 then, so you had a chance to adjust and adapt throughout the match. So but no, yeah, like the event in itself, especially for the inaugural being the inaugural event of this, I thought was really, really went really, really well. My only kind of gripes with the tournament itself is that the location is kind of isolated. Because for those of you who don't know where Linwood Ranch is, it is kind of like off in the middle. Like it's called Okotoks, but it's actually off the highway a little bit into like the boonies a little bit. There's also like really, really bad cell service there. So like when I was posting my updates on Instagram, I had to wait till I got back to the hotel.
Oh my.
To send it. Like you had zero access to like Wi-Fi or anything like that. So that's more of a what do you want to say, like social media type gripe. That's not a gripe. That didn't actually affect the tournament itself overall, but for promoting the tournament wise,
yeah,
heard that because you couldn't do like what you see on CMPL. Like Yui's walking around there with his phone, catches a really good highlight, and then it's uploaded like before the match.
Technically, we have a little bit problem also in EPC. If people that didn't know during the CNPL finals, they actually, like, if you look at the YouTube feed, they're having some like glitches and stuff like that. It's because the EPC does not have fiber optics in their facility, and in order to transmit their matches, they have to use Starlink instead of a landline, because landline is always faster than anything else, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So hopefully EVPC, and I know they were still kind of finishing building out the place. Like that was a really, like they're still really brand new. So hopefully they fix that and get some type of public Wi-Fi in there for those type of things. But yeah, so that was my only kind of gripe with the location was, and also the only four courts. Like 4 courts wasn't too bad, but you could tell by how we were trying to like shove that many matches through. And I think the original concept was also to have 16 amateurs on each side and 16 pros and 16 senior pros on each, but they had to cut that down because obviously once they realized, we only got 4 courts, then it's a lot harder to fit more people. Like there's no way you'd be able to do it with 16 and 16. Like you'd be there you'd have to have a 4th day. Yeah. But no, other than that, I thought it was a big success. They're planning on rotating between the US and Canada each year. So I think next year, nothing's official yet, but I want to say it's going to be like in Virginia, because one of the big female senior pros there, who kind of was like, her and Tracy were the 2 kind of spearheading it. She's like, I don't know if she runs a facility there, but she's got ins at the one facility in Virginia or whatever. So that might be where they're going.
Nice.
Um,
Free
so-
trip to Virginia.
yeah, exactly. Hopefully, guy as a pro though next year.
Oh.
Right? My fingers crossed for that. I'm pushing that narrative as much as I freaking can at this point. So, but no, yeah. So hopefully, I would love to see that event eventually become, maybe not, obviously not by next year, but like say in a couple of years, to the point where you have senior amateurs and regular amateurs as well. Like not just okay, it's the first amateurs that sign up. It's like, no, okay, we're gonna have, this is like 49 and under amateurs, 50 and up amateurs, then you can have your senior pros playing with the senior amateurs, or 49 and under playing with the pros or whatever like that, right? So it's because like if we're honest, because aside from and the other one was, is because it was the first year, there wasn't a lot of lead up to it. Like it was, I don't want to say thrown together really quick, but even Tracy kind of said like, oh, we kind of threw this together as quickly as we could because they wanted to get it done while players were available and stuff like that. So, but I'd love to see it, and the funny thing is like I happened to see it because I follow Tracy on Instagram.
You basically need to know her in
Yeah.
order to sign up. Basically.
So that was my only gripe with that. I'd love to see it where this gets promoted, like you shoot it across like all of Pickleball Canada, you shoot it across whatever, and everyone kind of tags it and goes up, and then you have everyone in Canada has a chance to like submit and show their interest, because we had quite a few of our like 4 or 5 plus players here in Alberta who ended up going on the waiting list because it wasn't until they talked to Aireen that they even knew about it, right? Like Anya Saran, Jill Bjornsson, Mikkel Hartman, like those 3 I think were all like considering going to that, but then by the time they heard it from Aireen, it was already all filled up, right? And then there was a waiting list. So I would have loved to see how Canada would have done. You had those 3 women come down and play as well, right? Because those are some of our high level 4.5 players. So yeah, so I love, like, as the beginning and kind of like the grassroots start of it, I thought it was a super big success. Obviously there's things to work on, like I said, the social media promotion stuff for it, or the stuff leading up to the event, and then at the events, right? Like aside from it just streaming online, but like for example, like I couldn't even tag the stream, post it on social media and say, hey, everyone tune in, Aireen's playing right now, because I had no service.
You have no cell reception.
Like so, like all my posts were at like 9 o'clock at night after we had gotten back to the hotel, and then you just see me kind of doing like a quick highlight reel, a couple pictures on my Instagram, right? So like, and I wanted to push this because I was like, no, this is good. This is good. This is a good exposure for these women. This is good exposure for Aireen. And I told Aireen, I said, the more and more you play against these higher level players, the more people are going to know you. I said, then like, next year when you try out for CMPL, you're not going to have that disadvantage of no one knows who the hell you are. Right. So it was just one of those things. So like I said, looking forward to following this. I recommend everyone start following Tracy Bennett on her Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube and stuff like that, to see when these events get posted, because just for the female aspect of making connections and finding other really good players to play with is a huge thing.
Yeah,
right. Like our Alberta ladies, especially our 4 or 5 kind of group ladies, are really lucky because there's a bunch of them who live in Edmonton. There's a fair amount of them who live in like the Calgary, Red Deer area, and then when Aireen comes there, she can kind of play with a bunch of them. So they got an advantage there. But like for once you hit that 5-0 kind of pro level plus, there's not.
That becomes tough. Like where you're gonna find them? Like where you're gonna find the Kim Layton? Where you're gonna find the Christina Chen? Right?
Yeah, exactly. So the more you can get everyone developing and making connections, then you can bring all those women up, get them all up into that pro, and then you have that big group of like, hey, these are all like our 5-0 pros who can all practice and train together, and then just keep making everybody better, type of thing, right? So that's what I'm really looking forward to see with this. But yeah, other than that, it was awesome. We had refs. And there was a big shout out to the refs who came down. Jane, Claudia. I'm blanking on who else was there. Oh my god. I apologize right away. But we had
Julie. Is Julie here? Julie
yeah.
Sherpney.
Yes.
Does it ring a bell? Yep.
Yeah.
I saw her on Instagram, so that's why I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I was asked to come also, but I was like, no, I was in Ontario. Sorry,
yeah,
unless you fly me off from
yeah,
Ontario, which is not making sense anyway.
exactly. But yeah, so shout out to the refs, shout out to all the volunteers. They were awesome throughout the weekend. Shout out to Tracy and getting it all together. And like I said, shout out to our Canadian pros who, like, I didn't even have to go up and talk to them. They came up and chatted with me, gave me nice little behind the scenes tidbits about like the CMPL season that just ended and stuff like that. But which makes me already look forward to like January where we
That'll be fun.
got the free agency and the trade season starting with that. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to the upcoming CPA in November once they announce the location and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the pro tour. And then so we do have a little bit. Seeing how I just mentioned CPA, they have on their website now. They have their rankings. Because as we said when we were talking about the CPA when it first started up, is that they're having 4 events over the span of a year. Now, of course, with an event that big, it's tough to get locations, and like, I totally understand that. So yes, there's been a bit of a gap between the Toronto one and the one that's going to be in Quebec, and we're assuming Montreal is. I think is
I think it's in Montreal. That's gotta be happening. I think the other biggest issue they had, well, which is technically a good problem. That's what Alex is telling me from High Sport, is like they didn't even advertise this the amateur part for CPA, and they still got 500 people that signed up. So they're like, whoa. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's why they it took them a while still to find out a location in Montreal, because if they have 500 people without advertising, if they're going to do the same thing in Montreal and have 500 people sign up without advertising, well, they need a bigger facility. You cannot get like a small facility just for the pros, right?
Yeah, exactly. And we were talking with Yui about that too. That becomes the thing. Like, you start advertising that, you're going to start to compete with like nationals of number of players showing up. Because what do we have at nationals in Halifax? Like 800 plus.
Yeah, it's very close to 1,000. Very close.
Yeah, right. So and I know when nationals were in Regina last year, we were up in like the 700s, or like if not 700, we were like the high 600s. So once you get to that, that's when you need like at least 20 courts. And then and the nice thing with the CPA event is that it's over like a 5-day span, so you can get away with a couple less courts, but like you're really starting to push it if you do less than 20, right? You're just gonna start running overtime. So yeah, so I understand why it's tough, especially in Canada. Like in the US, this would be easy. Like just go down the street a couple miles and like there's another like 30 court facility right there, right? Whereas in Canada, because it's cold here, especially in the winter.
Well, if you run it in November, you got to run indoors, right?
And
you cannot run it outdoors.
Exactly. Well, and even outdoors, because our weather is so fluctuant, right? Like even like if we go just with provincials this year in Alberta, it was a gong show with the wind.
Oh yeah,
right.
I was lucky not playing. I was just reffing. I was just laughing at you guys.
So like you don't want wind to be that big of a factor, right? So that's the issue. So you would prefer to have majority of this stuff if not in a indoor facility, but at least a closed over facility.
Yeah, like almost like a dome. If they can make a dome, like a temporary dome, maybe that could be a solution.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's the thing with that. So that's why we're still kind of waiting for 100% confirmation of where it's going to be. But the other thing with the CPA being part of the Pickleball World Rankings is that your scores here eventually will move over and you will get scores for your world ranking, which leads eventually to the World Championships that the Pickleball World Rankings is going to be doing. Because I know they're doing their first huge event in Dubai.
Yes.
Yeah, coming, and that's November as well, right?
Yeah, around that time. Around that time.
So that'll be one of the first ones where you see like the actual Pickleball World Rankings thing pop up. Like if you go to the CPA website right now, you'll have their CPA scores, And then there's a pickleball ranking score right beside it. Now there's nothing entered in there yet because I think they're trying to equivalent. Okay, how much is this tournament worth in comparison to like the Dubai tournament type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Now for the CPA rankings, if you got first place, you get 1,000 points. If you got second place, 800. Go down by 200 until you get to 200. Then it's 100, 50, 25, 10, 5. Right. So no surprise, Maria Kokolitsky is number one because she triple crowned. So 3,000 points. Right. Then you have ATN is second because he won. He got first in men's doubles and mixed with Maria, but fell short to his male partner Brad Chapman in the men's final. So he got the 800 there. So or sorry, the 600 there. 600. I wonder 600? If that. It says 2,600 on the tour, but I'm thinking that should be 2,800.
That's weird.
I wonder if that's a typo. I'm gonna check that typo because technically that should be 2,800. Either way, he's second regardless. Then you have Christina Chen, who finished, wasn't it second in everything?
Mostly second, yeah.
Except for mix. A mix, I think her and
she won.
Because yeah, she got second in singles, she got second in women's, and then I want to say her and Ernesto got fourth in mix, fourth or fifth, something like that.
Something like that.
So she's there.
And Ernesto was not proud of his result. He's telling me.
I love how he says that, and he's still in the top. He's still in the top 6, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And anyway, but like I understand. Like he wants to be the top, and then he just wasn't playing well.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. But that's why there's four events, right? So
yeah.
So Christina with 2,200. Then you got Brad Chapman with 2,010. So Brad got first in men's singles, first in men's doubles. So there's his 2,000. But then him and Kim Layton, and I want to chalk this up to a little bit to Kim's hamstring injury. I want to say they got like 7th or 8th or something, or along those lines for the mix.
I don't think they went pretty far, unfortunately.
They didn't go very far. They only got 10 points for that effort, anyways. Then you got Ernesto with 1,800. So he got second in men's doubles with Matthew Kawamoto. I want to say it was fourth with Christina Chen. And I'm not sure how he finished in singles. I want to say he still got like 100 or 200 points. So I want to say like 5th or 6th. But yeah, he's sitting in 6th. Then you have Jessica Kawamoto with 14. Now Jessica didn't play singles, and she still got 14, and she's still sitting in the top 7. So that shows you how well Jessica was playing, because she got first in women's with Maria, and then her and Matthew in mixed got 400 points. So I want to say that's like 5th, I think. I'd have to go back and double check what where they actually finished. Right behind her is Matthew with 12, and same thing. I don't think Matthew played singles either.
No, I don't think Matthew did play singles.
Yeah. So then, him and Ernesto got second in men's, and then teaming with Jess and getting like 4th or 5th. Ryan Torrenson, who I also think didn't play singles, got second in mixed with Ariana Rodriguez, and then in men's, I want to say they got third or 4th. I want to say he was sitting around there. Oh no, maybe no. Sorry, yeah, 3rd or 4th. Next, you got Kim Layton with 1,010. So obviously she withdrew partway through singles, which I think dropped her down to 6th place because of that hamstring injury. Got second in women's doubles, and then in the mixed, whatever the 10 points was that her and Brad got, once again because of that injury. Jordan Vigna with 1,000 points. I want to say she teamed with Haddo Thole in the mixed, and they did pretty well in the women's. Her and Sophia, I want to say, finished like 5th or 6th. Then you have Ariana Rodriguez with 900 points.
Okay, there we go. I got the results now. So what's going on is Brad. So I think that's why Etienne got the numbers right. Etienne got bronze
He got
in
third. That's
singles.
right. Because because Robert withdrew because of the religious thing. There we go.
Exactly. That's why I think the number was right.
Yeah.
So
Okay. There we go. That's why it was 600K. Yeah. And speaking of Robert got 825 for ninth, and then Haddo with 800 to round up the top 10. So right now, if the whole event was to end today with only the one event, these would be the 10 players who get that the coveted like sponsorship deals. Because that's one of the big things they're playing for, is aside from the cash payouts and stuff like that, is the top 10 get guaranteed sponsorship deals in the CPA, right? So right now that's your top 10. I could see there's a couple people who are just below the top 10 who I could see make a run for some points, like Joel Peltier, Mark Godfrey's in there and stuff as well. The interesting thing with, and we said this at the Toronto one, the interesting thing with Robert Rotera is that, yes, he's an insanely good singles player. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had won gold if he had played on Championship Sunday. But the fact that he can't play Sundays, and I think they stated due to religious reasons, I want to say that might affect him getting sponsorship deals.
Yeah, that will be, unfortunately.
Right? Which is unfortunate, but like if you're gonna do the championship Sunday, you want your best players playing then, and you want your sponsored players there, because that's the ones who are promoting your brand. So you want it when all eyes are on the finals, right? So it's one of those things, because if he keeps getting third every time because he's forfeiting that championship match because he can't play on Sundays, it's going to be one of those things where it's like, okay, well, we can't really make you the face of the league, because anyone who tunes in on Sundays is not going to watch you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting how that's going to go, but we'll see how the Quebec one goes. There was a couple of pros who didn't end up making it, who were technically committed, like Brett Forsyth wasn't there, Casey Rogers wasn't there, Amanda Rosati wasn't at the Toronto one, right? So it'll be interesting how many show up, or how many are going to be for the Quebec one.
Yeah, hopefully everyone can show up. That'll be fun when everyone show up. Right?
It's always better when you have all the big names show up, right? Like, because then you're gonna just get better matches, right? So I would assume Etienne and Maria are gonna show up, because you want to keep trying to maintain that hold on first place. I don't foresee.
He's gonna be questionable, because now I follow Etienne on Instagram. He's now really practicing in the States, and starting to play much more APP, right? So therefore, there's a chance maybe there will be conflict of schedule, and then he might not be able to play. I have a feeling.
Mind you, if he's not sponsored down in the APP, like, it depends.
That's true too. That's true.
It kind of, yeah. So, and because you did so well at the Toronto one, you want to kind of go with, like, okay, if I'm doing so well there, like teaming with Brad, teaming with Maria, I can do this, get some guaranteed sponsorships, and then I only have to put aside for like 4 events every year in Canada, and then I can go at APP as much as I want in the in between. Because Maria as well is playing a lot of like events down in the States right now. Like she's killing it in the singles side. Like she's doing really well there. I don't know how well women's doubles and stuff like that, but I know she just did a major upset, I want to say last weekend, where she was like the 30th seed and she upset like the 19th seed or something like that. Like,
yes, I heard. Shout outs to her. She made it to the headlines.
Yeah, exactly, right. So I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, this just plays off of like with this how the CNPL is growing in popularity too, and this just gets more eyes on these pro players, right? And the more sponsorships and stuff that these pro players get, the easier it is for them to play, because it's, and like me and Victor can attest this, it's hard when you have a full-time job and you're trying to make yourself better and better and better at this sport when this is coming 100% out of your pocket. Like, yeah, like
that's definitely tough.
Now, my paddles for free. I get a couple shirts for free from Nivea and stuff like that. We would love to have a sponsor for the podcasts, guys. Like if Skechers or even like CNPL, CPA want to reach out and have us as like official, like the official podcast and like fly us out to the events, we'll gladly do that. Anything that would I can wear for pickleball or make this a little bit easier for me and Victor to cover stuff and go to stuff, because it does, especially for us who have to drive a lot of these places. Like Victor doesn't have to drive as far as I do, and now that he's a ref, some of that stuff is, or he's a certified ref. A lot of his stuff covered, but for me, it's all coming out of pocket. So
yeah, well, still like for like even like like even for like the high sport in Ontario, I was just lucky to be there in Ontario to cover that. But like if I wasn't in Ontario, there's no way I'm gonna come from Edmonton all the way to Toronto to be able to cover that, right? Because it's coming out of my expenses. It's not something that I will be able to recuperate from it neither. And especially me and you having a full-time job, like even this podcast, like we do it for the love of the sport. Like we're basically sacrificing our family time right now for you guys. See that for your listener, we're sacrificing already.
But no, yeah, no, and I'll say honestly, I do love doing this. This is definitely a passion project, for us. But no, yeah, it's awesome, and we've met some amazing people doing this. Like everyone from the CNPL, like Victor said, with high sports and the CPA and stuff like that we've gotten to talk to and stuff like that. And like there has been conversations about us hopefully covering stuff on a more intimate basis and stuff like that. But like we can't confirm anything right now because obviously there's all these leagues have budgets of their own. They're all startup leagues, so depending on what you have for budget, on what they can do with that, right? Obviously priority goes to the product on the court, right? So I don't expect, like for example, say Pipe Dream, we get to be the official podcast of like the CMPL and they want us on site for all the events, right? And say they want to say, yeah, okay, we'll pay for your flight to come down, hotel, and all that fun jazz, right? Like, obviously, they're not going to sacrifice what they want to pay the players or the players' expenses for that because we're window dressing on top. We're not.
Yes, definitely. We're the little guys.
Yeah, we're like the sprinkles that you add on to the already really good ice cream type of thing, right? Like that's bonus, right? So I don't expect any of these leagues to do that until they're in a financial position to do so. And then who knows, they're like, once again, we're a nice little small podcast. Yes, we're growing in size thanks to a lot of the people thanks to everyone who listens to this and follows us and stuff like that. But like, we're clearly not professionals. We're just two guys who love to geek out about this sport, and we'll probably watch it to the detriment of our wives. But
yeah, I'm just already looking at my wife peeking me out. So
yeah, exactly right. So, but
well, like with peeking me out with like some angry eyes.
Yeah, exactly. So I've rambled enough about that. So here, Victor, we'll quickly jump on to some of the new facilities in Edmonton and some of the upcoming tournaments. We can actually, and before we get to that, we can quickly talk about the NAPP, but I don't have much to say because they didn't broadcast anything.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because the NAPP could have been so much better. So for people that doesn't know what is NAPP, is the National Association Pickleball Professional, which is actually
I thought it was north of.
Is it? No, sorry, North America. North America Pickleball Professional, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, sorry, I'm so bad.
No worries. There's a lot of acronyms, and there's a lot of acronyms we got to remember. So
yeah. So anyway, so yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, they're hosted by the Charcoal Pickleball, which is the home base of Jorge and Ali. Yeah, so they're able to now secure their own facility, which is the YEG Pickleball. They have 7 courts in this facility. We'll talk about this later on. So yeah, they have cameras in place, and they like, and Jorge is pretty tech savvy for Instagram and everything, but like the amount of advertisement and the amount of like kind of reception was not much, was not as well received. I will say, like if you look at the so how they make that tournament happen is there is the amateur side which they play to get the golden ticket in order to be able to play on the next NAPP Pro, which is in November in YEG Pickleball. Like even that like they did quite a bit of advertising around like the our like local club in St. Albert. They did some commentary also by Global News. I think CBC also that interviewed them, but they still didn't have more than like how many they have, maybe 80, not more than 100 people that sign up for the amateur level. So I was like, that was a little disappointing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then on the pro scene, obviously they just started, so it's tough to get the pros. But a lot of the pros are like the pros from Canada are not here, except Jorge, Ali, and Ava. And then like basically after that, all the other pros is like, who are they? And then I have to look on them on Duper. Oh, okay. Some of them come Mexico. Oh, some of them, most of them come from the USA. They're playing at the APP and the PPA, but they're like 50 plus, but they just never been able to make it to the main draw in the pro PPA. So basically, so those are the people that they're not as well known, unfortunately. So that didn't really able to like gather the attention, I think, of the audience or the people to actually go for that event. I'm just I was a little bit disappointed at the outcome. Hopefully, the next couple ones that they're gonna do, they will be able to better advertise. And the other thing, like you said, Andrew, where's the broadcast? Like you have the camera. Why don't like is he like if Tracy Bennett is able to do it for you guys at that in the women's challenge, why you can't do it? Like YEG, you're in Edmonton, you have fiber optics, you have everything. Like you have YouTube, you basically
Yeah.
have everything broadcasted.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think the other, especially for the on the amateur side, because the YEG had such a delayed opening, I think people were like, "Hey, is this tournament even going to go ahead?" So I
Yeah,
wonder.
and that was the other problem too. I agree. Like it was slated to be the first week of September, right? Remember that which they started, and now they have to push it all the way to the end of September because they have so many delay on the construction of the YEG. So that also shoot themselves a little bit in their feet, unfortunately. So hopefully now they get everything settled. Like the other couple of tournaments now, they can starting to kickstart to the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And definitely get it on. I don't care where you stream it, YouTube, Twitch, whatever. Get it so you can get eyes on it, because like I see, like you look on their on the pickleball brackets and they're selling like spectator tickets. I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
all fine if for people who want to go watch who live there, right?
Mhm.
But say if someone like me, if I'm working that weekend, but I still want to, see what happened, like because the only reason why I even know who won was from the Instagram posts.
Yeah.
Right. It wasn't even posted like anywhere massive, and it was all just on stories. It wasn't even like a post. It was just a story. So if
Yeah, it was on the stories.
you're not even paying attention to the stories, and you're just looking
Oh,
at posts, you
you
wouldn't have
missed.
even seen it, right? So it's just I'm like it like you don't even need to do commentary for this for the first couple if you don't want to. Like just have the camera running.
Mhm.
Have the
Well,
camera.
ideally, you want some sort of commentary.
Yeah,
Like
I
obviously,
ideally you do, but like at bare minimum, get eyes on it.
yeah,
You know what
true.
I mean? Like just turn the camera on, have it running, put live stream, and then say if like one or two pros like get knocked out early and it's the championship, hey, do you guys want to come on and do a quick commentary, like stick on a headset and then just go? type of thing. Like that's all you gotta do, because that's literally how like pickleball Alberta started. With like, because I know for like the provincials, the very first provincials we went to, actually, and me and Irene got gold, and you guys got bronze.
Yes.
There was no commentary until the pros went up.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a running live stream, right? And then they by the end of it, they had Brett Forsyth and Caitlin Soroka go on and do commentary and it was just the championship for the open mixed. Right, and that was it. But I was like, you start with that because then you can get eyes on it, and then, you know, as popularity picks up, as you get a couple more sponsors come in, then you can get people coming in and do commentary, then you can get all this other stuff. But if no one can see it, if they're not there in town, it's not going to grow. And like, and hey, like, yes, we're big like CMPL CPA homers, but like, I want to see this grow too, because competition is what drives products to be better.
Yes, exactly.
Right? So I want to see the NAPP succeed, because the better they get, it forces the CMPL to get better, it forces the CPA to get better, and then we just have good quality no matter which one you tune into. Right? So, but yeah, so that's pretty much all we can say to that, because like we said, like, we couldn't watch any of the matches because Victor was in Ontario, I was in Peace River, and it wasn't broadcast.
The only thing that I can follow it was on bracket for the result, but we don't see anything what's going on, like how the game was played and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like, and you and me can speak to this. Like, you could see what looks like a blowout, but then if you actually watch a match, and it's like, yeah, it might have been a blowout, but it didn't look like a blowout when you watch the rallies and stuff, right? Like, so, especially when it's regular scoring and not
rally, right?
So like, because I remember, because what was it, the at provincials, the one, it was the semifinals of the one match, and the final score was like 11-4. But you'd swear to God, if you didn't have a score up there, it looked like it was like 11-9 or 12-10.
Yeah, you might have like multiple side out nonstop and just
yeah, and the one team was just able to score like once, or like on their point, like every second time they got the serve, and so they slowly crawled away. But like, the rallies themselves were insane to watch, type of thing, right? So
yeah, I'll still give a quick shout out to Dewey and John Hoffman. They're the one that won the men's golden ticket. So they're in our club. They're part of my pickleball circle. So I was just like a quick shout out to them, be able to make it, and then next time probably they play pros in November.
Nice. That'll be good. I don't like, regardless of how well they do, that's just going to be a fun experience regardless. So So for Dewey and
John, they're good players here, right?
They absolutely are. So for Dewey and John, just go in there like you got nothing to lose, and don't stress out about it, and just have fun with it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right. All right. So moving on. So we got some new. So here we'll do new facilities and upcoming tournaments, kind of all in one shot. We might
sure.
as well.
Let's do that. So sorry, Andrew. We'll make you super jealous for you to move into Edmonton. So anyway,
at least 4 years before I can do that.
So while we're talking, so I've got to talk to YEG. So YEG just recently opened. Technically, they actually let the founder that has the founder membership to look at their facility. The grand opening is actually probably going to come up before when our pod's going to be posted up. It's going to be on this coming this Saturday, the 5th, isn't it? Yeah, the 5th of October. They will have 7 facility. My parents actually be able to go over and see the facility already. They have very wide court, so you have for sure no problem for ATPs. But the biggest complaint is the back. It seems like they don't have enough space on the back. So if you're serving hard or you're hitting hard, forget it. You're gonna get caught from the back. It's not insane. It's not insanely tight, but it's like not as big as like EPC. EPC, you have quite a bit of space behind the baseline, but you don't have enough space on the sideline. So it's like give or take. What do you want? Do you want more ATPs, or do you want to serve harder? Right. So basically. So that's I would say the only thing. They will have actually they have a walkway in between most of the court, which is good, but there's a little too narrow to actually put like chairs like in EPC. So anyway, give or take, sometimes that's what you get from the facility. They just hosted the NAPP there, which is great. They will have cameras on most of the courts, and for Charcoal Pickleball is actually now their headquarters. So you already know their programming with Jorge and stuff like that. Now instead of running all over Edmonton, they'll be mostly now located in YG Pickleball. So that's great because it's super close to my house, right? Basically 15 minutes from my house, so it's perfect. There was a big news. The next facility was big news coming from the St. Albert. The Rise Athletic Pickleball is going to be open. So the address is 9 Richardson Drive, St. Albert. It's around that industrial park area from St. Albert. They will have 20 pickleball courts indoors in there. 20, yes, and 1 championship court over there. That's insane. That's insane about courts they're gonna have. On top of that, they have 6 basketball courts, which can be converted to 3 volleyball courts. They will have badminton courts. How many I don't know yet. They will have 4 padel courts, and they also will have a kind of a soccer pitch court also in there. So it's that just by looking at the photos and stuff like that, it looks like a super massive facility. They're slated to open in this year in November. They're already starting to have some membership running right now. So if you want the founder membership is almost $1,000 a year, or if you're a couple is $1,699. What you get in there, you have 18 days reservation, and you have no court fees. So basically, every time you go is free. Well, free is the word. You pay for it, but anyway, if you play enough, the founders membership might make sense. After that, they have the platinum, which is $299 per year, a year, $5.08 per hour, 16 days for reservation. Gold membership $199 a year, $6.15 per hour for 14 days in advance for reservation. You have the regular, which is $100 a year for $7.15 an hour, and 10 days advance for reservation. If you don't want to pay membership, it will be about $850 an hour playing there. So I feel like it's a little steep as a membership fee, especially you cannot break it down in months. You have to pay it per year right away. But they offer a 10% military or first response discount if you buy those annual membership. Maybe good for me, but the problem I have right now is most of my guys are playing all over the place, so basically I cannot commit into one spot, and that this is like it's a good problem, but it's still a problem for me anyway.
Yeah. Yes. I guess sucks to be you have all those pickleball courts together.
Yeah, it sucks to be me. It sucks to be having all the courts.
So I did really quick math for that founder's fee. To make it equal the same as the $7.15 an hour as the regular, you'd have to at least do 134 hours.
Okay, that's
which isn't too hard if you think about it, because realistically, how often are you going there only playing for an hour?
That's true. And especially if you're playing all the time, like if you're a retiree that have nothing to do, you can basically play there every day, and no one cares.
Go there for 2 hours. You're gonna have that paid for in like 3 months.
Exactly, but
so it's like it's one of those things. How much do you play, and how often does your group go to that particular spot?
But the problem is like between like someone's like me and you that have to work in the days, and like I have to do tournaments during the summer and stuff like that. It's difficult to justify.
Gonna be one of those ones where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out of my way to go there if I'm paying that much.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's like you're forcing yourself to pick one spot. But that 20 courts and one championship court thing. Hey, um, St. Albert, you guys better be asking for provincials next year.
wait a minute, I haven't talked one more facility yet, and that's we're gonna compete against St. Albert. So Spruce Grove,
The northern Alberta, because then I don't have to drive as far.
so Spruce Grove is also announced they finally finalized their plan for their so the Parkland pickleball they finalized their plan for a new facility. Where they're going to be is going to be right in between Spruce Grove and Stony Plain. That's where they're going to place their facility. There will be a 14 outdoor courts with um, another 14 indoor facility that court facility that is also located in there. And their plans also to expand to 28 indoor courts in there. So which is a pretty ambitious plan. And they're saying they're gonna break ground probably in spring next year and finish around the fall of next year. So probably not going to be able to make it in time for the provincial, but maybe for the subsequent provincial or the Western regionals.
At 2026, well, yeah, Western regionals. Actually, yeah, that actually would work perfectly for because Westerns this coming year are in Manitoba.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's in Saskatchewan, so they'd be ready for Westerns by 2027.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So that's not going to be ready for provincials next year. So St. Albert, get on that and get provincials in that facility. Seeing how you're opening this November.
Yeah. So we'll see how they
and the beauty
how they open up first.
No weather issues.
Yeah, no weather issues.
Right.
Sure.
That's the beauty thing with that. Right. So I'm on the board, and I don't make the full decision, but I will fully support that. St. Albert, anyone from St. Albert Club who's listening to this, I will fully support the provincials going there. One, it's only a 5-hour drive for me, which was better than 7 or 9 or 12 if I'm going to Medicine Hat, right? Two, it's all indoor, so you don't have to worry about rainouts. You don't have to worry about winds. Like, you are set, right?
Exactly.
So let's go. Let's get that happening.
Yeah, and I think St. Albert Pickleball Club also is trying to kind of link into that this pickleball facility. So we'll be up to them to make the call for next year.
Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, those are the big news about the new facility in Edmonton. I think now we're starting to have enough club, but are we able to get a full saturation? We'll see. We'll see about that yet. I don't know, but it's going to be an interesting winter. We'll see how jam packed those facility will be.
Yeah, well, and hopefully we get more there's more turnouts for the tournaments that are happening, especially now that Duper's been integrated with brackets.
Mm-hmm.
So on sanction tournament, your Duper can still go up, which is nice.
Yes, exactly. And then we have more tournaments coming up, right, Andrew?
Yeah, we have what is it, the NAPP the next qualifier is the October 12th and 13th.
Yeah, it's at the YYC Pickleball, which is in Calgary.
Yeah. And then we have Calgary Pickleball Center is doing their October tournament on the 5th and so this weekend on the 5th and 6th. I think that one's already you can't register anymore. I think
no, it's too late, unfortunately.
So what do they have? They almost have 200 people for that one, don't they?
Yeah, they have pretty big amount of people in there.
Well, they've been up for a year now, so they're getting good turnouts regardless. So
I can take a quick look if you like. You can continue while taking.
Yeah. Then Edmonton Pickleball Center is doing their first tournament, which is going to be October 19th and 20th. The thing I like about both the Calgary and the Edmonton one is every month they are going to be doing a tournament. I want to say the Edmonton one's the third weekend of the month, and yes. I want Calgary one's either the second or first weekend of every month. I think it's so they're trying to space each other out. So if you want to go to both, you could. type of thing because they're not trying because obviously they're owned by the same people. They're not trying to compete with each other.
Oh yeah, there's gotta be.
So,
they don't want to shoot their feet together, right? For that.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
So
actually, I can tell you. So the Calgary already have 153 people, and the Edmonton one has 131 people.
nice. So that's perfect. I know I won't be able to go to the Edmonton one for October just because this is my daughter is playing junior high volleyball and this is like peak volleyball season. She's got a tournament like every weekend for the rest of the month. Their zones are the first weekend of November and swimming season starts. So I have to check her my kid's swimming schedule, and if they don't cross over with the November Edmonton one, I'll be going to that one. So I might be bugging you, Victor, if Lester doesn't get a hold of you first.
Sure.
And then then we have the NAPP Tour qualifier, which is November 2nd and 3rd.
Yes.
And then the NAPP Pro Tour, and I think we have it's a possible finals.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's a final because maybe they won't have time to do another one in December. So I put a final in quotation kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah, I think because I think you probably take, especially for the US players flying up. I think that's a lot of flying, especially in winter weather, right?
Yeah, so that'll be technically, I would say technically their final is going to be on the 15th and the 17th of November at obviously at YG.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they can boost up their number.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like I said, hopefully, broadcasting. Like I said, even if there's no commentary, just get the video out there, right?
They have me in Edmonton, like just
yeah.
tell me to go.
Tell Victor and get Victor to come over there, right? Like,
well, they actually probably call me up for reffing. Actually, that's what they're gonna do.
Because it's funny because I know Aireen was talking about trying to go to one of these, but the way I'm looking at the dates right now, I don't think we'll be able to go because she also coaches our daughter's volleyball team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you tell me that.
So the last qualifier is the November 2nd and 3rd, and that's the zones for junior high volleyball up here in River. So I don't think because I know her and Anya were talking about doing one of those. So
gotcha.
But if we can't make any of those, we'll get the word. I know she'll try and get the word out and get a bunch of people to sign up for the November Edmonton Center one, so she can get some games. Because I know that's the one thing though. Looking at the Edmonton one, there's not a lot of 4.045 players signed up. It's a lot of 3.5 and under right now.
I see that too.
It's awesome for the 3.5s and stuff. Hey, get games in, get better. But hey, 4.5 people, what the hell?
Well, because maybe they want a break, right? Sometimes they was like, oh, I just want to practice and stuff like that.
Okay, well, they can keep taking a break, and then when I eventually kick their ass because I've been practicing all winter, they can't get mad at me. Right?
Anyway.
Well, that's funny because I always laugh because everyone's like, "How'd you get so much better?" I'm like, "You realize my club is a winter club, right? Like I'm practicing 4 to 5 times a week in winter." I was like, "Because we're indoors at a rec center."
True.
Like, that's why I always like I make a jump from like the end of from August, and then when the first
then you jump, to the next.
I make a big jump there because that's when I'm getting majority of my practice.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have this. Well, I have the facility, but now I have to pay for it. That's the problem.
Well, I gotta pay for mine too, but
I'm paying higher fees than yours now.
Yeah, you also have more high quality players to play with though than I do. Like
True.
I got
agree.
I have 5 in my club. Like that's it.
I agree.
But no, yeah, like super looking forward to that, and then of course looking forward to. I know this is a long way off, and we'll probably do a couple more. We'll have at least a couple more episodes before that. Probably at least 2 before January when it's CNPL free agency season. Because
hopefully maybe we'll get more news also from them too.
Yeah, I might just start blowing up Yui's phone saying, "Hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on?"
Yeah, exactly. Or Mike, give me some news.
I was like, give me. I was like, I'm going in withdrawals here. Give me some info, right? Like,
yeah.
I think that's about everything, but we do have time for a quick equipment corner because Victor, of course, every time he goes somewhere, he buys a couple paddles. So
I got lucky this time. I have some paddle for free, so I have this pad. I was just talking about that. Evo Atletica, they gave me this paddle to do a quick review. Basically, I'll be soon posting a little bit more review on YouTube and Instagram since now I'm back from Ontario. I'll do like kind of a shorter version, not extensive review about paddle. So that was a kind of interesting paddle. If you look at the shape right here, like okay, what's the use of this? So if you really put two hands on it, now you can see like for a two-handed backhand, instead of holding it like everything cramped here, you can actually hold it up a little bit up top, so give it a little bit more space for your two-handed backhand. I hit just a couple of games, not a lot of games yet with this paddle. This paddle is super light. I haven't run the numbers yet, but I will say the swing weight is around low 110, which means there's a super fast paddle. But the problem is by being super fast, it's not as stable. So you have to put a lot of lead tape in order to stabilize this paddle. But so far so good. It's not a Gen 3 paddle. It's a Gen 2 paddle, so it's thermoform, but it's not super strong paddle. But so I'll need to hit more in order to give you guys more feedback about this paddle.
Hold it up again, Victor. I'm just gonna for our audio listeners, on the base of this paddle, it almost looks like there's a hilt. Like if you think of a sword hilt where the handle comes out and kind of guards the person's hand. The base of the actual paddle part actually comes out like that, so it looks like there's a hilt on the bottom of this paddle, which is really and like Victor was saying, it's really interesting if you're doing a two-hand backhand because it's almost there's spot to grip.
Yeah, if you can tune onto YouTube, you can really see what's the difference between a normal paddle. I'll just stick up a normal paddle. You'll see. I stick up the reload paddle. You see that the biggest difference right on the throat over here. Like I can't really use my hand to hold here versus now here I can use basically just two fingers. I can really hold the paddle properly. So I have this paddle given to me, and then since I was there, Yola also gave me a new paddle, which is the 3S paddle. This is the Magnus, so the one that Tyson McGoffin used. I have the 14 millimeter. People on some review channel are saying, oh, now the 3S is now a tuned down Gen 3 paddle. But whilst I hit a couple games with it, I was like, I can't control it. This paddle was like the ball was flying. Like every time it was like I just barely touched the ball. The ball's like flying off the fence. So I was like, I don't think it's tuned down at all. This is crazy power still. So I'll see. I now started to put some lead tape on it. I'll see if I can control it. But at this moment, I don't think it's tuned down Gen 3. Is the Gen 3 basically. And this paddle, if you look at it, is not USAP approved. It's UPAA approved. So basically, you cannot play any US sanctioned tournament. You can only play on PPA and MLP with this paddle.
Yeah, so can't use that in provincials, guys.
No, unfortunately. But you can use the other one, which is this one, the Yola Mod TA15, which is the one if Christina Chen, Ernesto are using. This is a real Gen 3 paddle, so it hits super hard. But I will say I have a caveat. I felt this paddle is much more controllable than the one that I just showed you, the Magnus. I can really I know it's still poppy, but I can still really control the ball. Do my normal dinking. I can still drop it into the kitchen. Versus the other one, like the ball is like flying out of control. Could be my skills. Maybe I'm not as skillful also, but anyway, I just couldn't do anything about that the other paddle. So anyway, I'll put some lead tape and I'll be able to maybe control it better. And one more one more thing about the paddle. I reached out to Reload, and they actually say they're gonna give me a discount code, so that my discount code Chen, CHANPB, actually works for Reload if you're looking for this paddle. That's the paddle that can peel. That's that peel the surface and change the surface. So why I'm presenting this paddle, Dewey just won his golden qualifier with this paddle because I introduced this paddle to him. So that was I'm taking a little bit credit on myself. I helped him to win the golden qualifier. Dewey, you're welcome. But anyway, I think it's a super good paddle because think about it, like the surface you can always peel and then slap a new one, and then you never gotta do spin on it. But I would say the only complaint which I told Rilo about it is you only have one shape. You need more shape than this in order to break through the market. With one shape, you're never gonna break through the market with that. So maybe they said yeah, we'll listen to your consideration, and then we'll see how they say.
That's awesome. All right. So that's it for this one, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in. We will be back. I'd say probably November. We don't, unless there's another big event that comes up.
Yeah, we don't have. There's not much event. We're kind of winding down in Canada, unfortunately, about the events right now. Obviously, the US is booming with PPA and MLP, but for us in Canada, it's the winter season, unfortunately, so everything kind of die down. But maybe we'll have some surprise news that we'll come up with.
Yep. So if we get anything surprised, we'll probably post a little video on Instagram, and then if it's super big news, we'll do even if it's just like a short 30-minute, 40-minute podcast on it. But yeah, other than that, probably not till November after hopefully that CPA event comes through, and then we can do a full recap on that. Mm-hmm. And
yes.
So probably like two more episodes this year guaranteed, and then hopefully we'll have a crap ton to talk about once we get into January, especially with all the CMPL free agency stuff.
Mm-hmm. Thanks everyone for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment if you want to talk to us, or maybe like wants to answer some questions.
Yeah, or message us on Instagram. Instagram's probably the best way to get a hold of us. Or you can hit up the AG Squared Pickleball Facebook page as well. I need to link Victor onto that as well so he can access it. But yeah, so thanks everyone. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care, guys. Thank you.